Hello, my dears. We meet again for yet another enlightening lesson on menopause. I'm Menopause Barbie, your menopause tailor. And my job is to make all this menopause stuff easy for you to understand. And that'll make it easy for you to use the information to get what you want to manage your menopause your way. So last week, I talked to you about how you only hear half the truth from media reports on research studies. And I kind of upset you by telling you the actual results of the WHI study that you heard about in 2002. If you haven't watched that video, go back and watch it. Now, I know that makes it sound like I enjoy upsetting you, and I don't enjoy upsetting you. That's not my goal. My goal is for you to know all the facts, period. And today, my goal is to really distinguish between using hormone replacement therapy for its primary purpose versus using it for its secondary purpose. You see, the whole reason the WHI caused such a commotion was that you never heard the part about the distinction between the use of HRT for its primary purpose versus its secondary purpose. So this video is for any woman who has ever heard anything about HRT. Don't assume you already know this stuff. I can assure you that you probably don't. So let's start by defining the terms primary and secondary as they pertain to intended uses of medications. So the primary purpose of a medication is the precise purpose for which it is intended. And the secondary purpose is something that is discovered by accident in utilizing the medication for its primary purpose. So it's a side effect, but it's a good side effect. It's a perk. So, a person taking the medication for its primary purpose gets the perk of benefiting from its secondary purpose. Here's an example. If you use an asthma medicine to treat asthma, you're using it for its primary purpose. But what if you discover that when you use the medication to treat asthma, it also relaxes your uterus? And then you realize that if it relaxes your uterus, it can stop preterm labor. Well, its action on the uterus is a perk. But if you start using it specifically to relax the uterus in a patient who doesn't have asthma, you're using it for its secondary purpose. See, I'm using that example because it's reality. There is an asthma drug that we use to stop preterm labor all the time. In fact, many medications are used for their secondary purposes. When we discovered that a blood pressure medication made hair grow, we used it to grow hair. And there are examples like this across all specialties in medicine. You know that serum you can paint along the edge of your upper eyelid to grow eyelashes? Well, that product is the result of a medication for glaucoma of the eyes. People who put the glaucoma eye drops in their eyes grew these beautiful lashes, and voila, that became the idea for a new product. So, coming back to hormone replacement therapy, the primary purpose of HRT is to prevent symptoms of menopause, like hot flashes and night sweats and insomnia. But the medical community noticed that there was a perk to using HRT to alleviate symptoms of menopause. Women who used HRT had lower rates of certain diseases like heart attacks, osteoporosis, and Alzheimer's disease. So the researchers who set up the WHI study on hormones said, hey, let's do a study to see if HRT can be used specifically for its secondary purpose. Let's see if HRT can prevent these diseases. So they designed the entire study to assess only its secondary use of preventing these diseases. But when they presented the results of the WHI study, they didn't tell you that. They simply said that HRT had more risks than benefits. What they should have said is, HRT is great for alleviating symptoms of menopause. And in using it for alleviating your symptoms of menopause, you'll benefit from the perk of preventing heart attack, osteoporosis, and Alzheimer's. But you shouldn't use it specifically for the secondary purpose of preventing these diseases. Do you see how easily they confused everyone? So when the media reported that HRT had more risks than benefits, women stopped using it for everything, both primary and secondary purposes. They despised HRT completely and they wouldn't use it at all. That's like saying, well, if the asthma medication doesn't relax the uterus, we won't use it for asthma either. In other words, the reaction went too far. And it doesn't mean that HRT isn't beneficial for preventing these diseases. It just means that you shouldn't use it primarily for that purpose. Preventing diseases is merely a perk of using HRT for your menopausal symptoms. In the 16 years since the WHI report, we've reanalyzed the WHI in great depth. And guess what? We're right back where we started. It's like a pendulum. We knew HRT was for the primary purpose of alleviating symptoms of menopause. And we knew that the secondary perk was that it prevented heart attack, osteoporosis, and Alzheimer's disease. Then the WHI report came out. And the pendulum swung to the complete opposite side. HRT became completely useless in the opinions of women who had heard the report. And now, 16 years later, we're right back where we started. Once again, HRT is beneficial for its primary purpose of alleviating symptoms of menopause. And preventing diseases associated with menopause is a secondary perk. You're probably wondering why this distinction is important. Well, it's because the whole purpose of these tutorials is for you to get what you want. And because of the big tidal wave that the WHI created, all the guidelines and rules for HRT use have been carefully reworded. So how you approach the topic of HRT with your physician or provider or whoever is very important. If you don't know these things I'm teaching you, you could have trouble getting what you want. So the bottom line is this. The primary reason to use HRT is for your symptoms of menopause. Preventing diseases associated with menopause is considered a secondary perk. And that's where we're going to stop today. In the next tutorial, I'll teach you the politically correct way to talk with your healthcare provider about the option of using HRT. I just love giving you all these tips to help you understand exactly how things work. Okay, so I'll see you in a week. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And subscribe by giving me your email there, and you'll get the video by email every week, and it's all free. See you in a week. Bye.